The highway had been empty for miles. Jake's car hummed over cracked asphalt, headlights slicing through the thick night fog. He had been driving since sunset, chasing a distant town on the map. But exhaustion weighed him down like a physical force. Every mile felt longer than the last, every turn indistinct. Somewhere ahead, a faint flicker of neon pierced the darkness. Pinewood Motel, vacancy. Jake blinked. Relief surged through him. A motel, open. A place to rest. He slowed, guided by the flickering light. The building looked old, almost forgotten, its paint peeling, windows dimly lit, the sign buzzing with a low, electric hum. Yet, despite its decay, it seemed alive. He pulled up to the parking lot. The asphalt was cracked, weeds pushing through the gaps. Only a handful of cars were scattered around. The main entrance creaked as he pushed the door open. A musty smell hit him, mixed with the faint scent of bleach and something else, something metallic. Behind the counter stood the owner, a man with pale skin, thinning hair, and a tight smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Welcome," he said, voice smooth. "First time at Pinewood." Jake nodded, tired, forcing a polite smile. "Yeah, just need a room for the night." "Of course," the man said. He handed over a brass key attached to a faded red tag. "Room 7. Enjoy your stay. And keep to your room after midnight." Jake raised an eyebrow. After midnight, the man's smile deepened. "Some things get restless at night." The room was small, dimly lit by a single lamp. Faded floral wallpaper peeled at the edges. The bed sagged in the middle, but it looked clean enough. His bag, and sank into a chair. He thought he heard footsteps outside the door, soft and deliberate. He stood, heart thudding, and listened. Nothing. The motel was silent. Minutes passed. Then came the knocking. Slow, hollow, coming from the wall across from him. "Hello." Jake called, voice slightly trembling. No response. The knocking stopped. He shook it off. Exhaustion made him jumpy. He turned off the lamp and lay down, hoping sleep would come quickly. Hours later, a cold draft woke him. His door was ajar. He hadn't opened it. He sat up, peering into the shadowy corridor. The hallway stretched endlessly in both directions. Lit by flickering fluorescent lights, he could see the outlines of other doors, some slightly open, some sealed tight. From one of the open rooms came whispers. "Get leave. Don't stay." Jake froze. The voice was faint, his rational mind. on the carpet. His rational mind protested. It must be another guest. A prankster. But the cold creeping up his spine said otherwise. He pulled the door shut, locking it. As he sat on the bed, gathering courage, he noticed something strange. Across the room, in the reflection of the mirror, a figure stood in the corner, pale, hunched, watching. Jakey's pulse spiked. He blinked. The figure was gone. Morning light should have eased his fear. But the motel had changed overnight. The air felt heavier, oppressive. The hallway outside his room seemed longer, twisting unnaturally. Rooms that had been closed were now ajar. Behind one door, he glimpsed a man sitting perfectly still, staring at the wall. Expressionless, as if frozen in time. Jake tried to leave. He stepped into the hallway. The exit was further than he remembered. He turned a corner and found himself back in front of room 7. Panic gripped him. The motel wasn't just a building. It was a trap. He wasn't alone for long. In the lobby, he met another traveler, a young woman named Mara. Her eyes were wide, haunted. She spoke in hushed tones. "You've noticed it too," she said. "The motel, it doesn't let you leave." Jake's stomach churned. "What do you mean?" She glanced around nervously. "I've been here before years ago. The place, it takes people. You think you're leaving, but the road outside, it never leads you out. You end up back here." Jake's mind reeled. She shook her head. "No. I barely escaped. Some don't." That night, the horror escalated. The lights flickered. The air grew frigid. Shadows slithered across the walls, forming shapes that didn't belong. The whispers returned, almost mocking. "Stay. Stay, stay." Doors slammed shut around them. The walls seemed to breathe, expanding and contracting. The previous guests, or what remained of them, appeared, translucent figures, wandering the hallways, staring at Jake and Mara, with pleading eyes, mouths moving in silent screams. In room 12, they found a journal dusty and water stained. Its pages chronicled the disappearances. Travelers lured in, trapped, and eventually consumed by the motel. One passage made Jake shiver. "The motel feeds on fear. Those who resist are drawn deeper. The owner is not human. The walls remember every face. Their attempt to escape was futile. Every corridor looped back on itself. The exit seemed further each time they approached. The neon sign outside flickered hypnotically, drawing them forward. Yet the road beyond twisted unnaturally, looping them back to the parking lot. The owner appeared at random intervals, always smiling, watching. His presence was oppressive, controlling. "You should have stayed in your room," he whispered once as Jake and Mara ran past him. But his voice echoed through every wall, every hallway. Desperation drove them to the rooftop. From there, they could see the fog, blanketed highway stretching endlessly. Yet, no matter which way they ran, the motel's parking lot appeared before them. Always empty. Always waiting. That's when they realized the truth. The motel wasn't just trapping them. It was alive. It consumed travelers to sustain itself, feeding on their fear and despair. The owner was its vessel, a warden of the damned. Mara screamed as shadows reached through the floorboards, trying to drag them down. Figures of lost travelers appeared behind them, hands grasping, faces twisted with eternal torment. In the final confrontation, Jake grabbed a fire extinguisher and swung at the owner. The figure dissolved into black smoke, only to reform elsewhere, laughing. The motel itself shook violently, walls creaking and groaning, as if enraged. With no other option, Jake and Mara sprinted toward a door that hadn't existed before, a side exit leading into the foggy woods. They ran blindly, branches clawing at their faces, until finally, the neon glow of the motel faded behind them. They were free. Or so they thought. Jake and Mara shared their story online. Authorities investigated the abandoned highway, but found no trace of the motel. Only a faint neon flicker appeared to some drivers late at night. Others claimed they had glimpsed it, empty and waiting. And on the internet, a forum post warned, "If you see the Pinewood Motel sign flickering in the distance, don't stop. The road won't let you leave. They never do."